I have just clicked record, so we can post this, post the link afterwards. So if anybody has any issues with being recorded, they can GTFO right now. Otherwise, let's drink some whiskey. Welcome to Renegades of Funk, hosted by our boy Nick Hardy here. We're going to drink some awesome whiskeys, which is going to be fantastic. I know that I am super excited for this. I've Russ and Nick and I have been going back and forth for like the last week, getting ready for this. Just giddy schoolgirls. So yeah, Nick, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm stoked. I'm super stoked. Like we drank some Longrows together while prepping this tasting, and I was like, oh my god, I just can't wait. I was telling you, like, I wished I had ordered like 2 or 3 kits and like enjoy them beforehand, and having all the kit for today. I think it's gonna be epic. We talked with Ross of doing a Renegades of Funk, and so much choices, so much things like going on we can include, and we decided to go with only Springbank and Longrow because that's in super high demand in Canada. We talked about having some Lechek, but Myke just did too awesome a job for the past like 6 years, and we have plenty of Lechek and Springbank. We just don't have enough, so let's have some Spring Funk.
Let's get it on. All right. I think Russell is doing IT, trying to get everybody logged in here. So we're going to get things going here.
I thought he was still choosing his shirt.
Who said that? All right, let's see here.
I just like the fact he's pretending to drink whiskey out of a coffee mug.
Just got off night shifts. This is just waking up over here.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead here and share my screen.
Can we get Steph to mute his mic as well?
All right, is everybody seeing my screen?
Are you auto-tuning yourself, or what is that?
I don't know. Could be a good time for everybody to go ahead and mute, just so we can jump in here. So again, as
did we just lose Myke?
Yeah.
Yep, he has some.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Oh,
His network connection is failing.
super off.
Sharing
Every
a
time
power,
he shares the screen, it's going down.
sharing a
All right,
PowerPoint.
Nick, it's all
broker.
on you, buddy.
All right, so whiskey one. Yeah, very good, very smooth for our Quebec friends who know the reference. Whiskey two. Oh yeah, super smooth, very good, smooth nose. Very port. Like I can taste the port. Now we have a guy in Quebec, like he's invaded so many groups, and it's like Japanese whiskey. I want to be the reference, like the biggest reference in the world. He has tasted two, and he's like partaking. I don't know. He's sharing epic notes, smooth nose, smooth palate, smooth finish, very much Porto, and yep. So he's the new reference in Canada and in the world for Japanese whiskey. Very, very nice guy. Myke, are you back?
sorry there, I got knocked out of the meeting there. I'm back now. Can everybody hear me again?
Yep.
Cool. Are you still seeing my screen, or did that go away too?
No screen.
Okay. Let me see if I can figure this out again. Okay, my view is switched over. Has everybody else's view switched over now?
Still loading for me.
Okay.
Screen sharing will automatically resume once your network connection improves. That would be his.
I
There goes Myke.
the screen share.
Mike's still on 5600.
He says to go through that roll.
So meanwhile, I can maybe just explain the forms. The idea was that when we do tasting, many people just want to share their notes, or they're just a bit afraid of sharing, and like they don't really know what they do. So I wanted to create a word cloud. So you can get the form and you hit up 5 words for every whiskey. I'm gonna do an Excel sheet with that and just put up some word cloud shape, bottle shape, or something. Yeah, double. That's okay. Yeah, so bottle shape, word cloud, and share the notes on NWO with all the words you will have written, and hopefully some will get mentioned twice or 3 times and appear a bit bigger, and we'll have some very complete notes for every whiskey. So the link is in the messages and on the event.
All right, I'm back again. That's super fun. So I guess if I share my screen, I get booted out. So yeah, I guess we're not going to share my screen. Nick, you've got the deck. Can you try sharing it?
Sure.
Hold on for a sec. I'll just make you the host.
Oh, okay. Just need. Is this good?
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Perfect. And let's go. Nope. There you go. So everyone sees the slides?
Yep.
Good to go.
Yep.
Perfect. All yours, Myke.
Did we lose him again?
Sorry?
On my screen, it shows that he doesn't have connection.
Well, that's weird.
All right. Well, let's get the show on the road here. I can start, Nick, if you want, till Myke gets back. It's not my forte, but all right. Well, welcome everybody to Renegades of Funk. It's been a long time in the making to try and put together a Springbank tasting, but we're here. Got some more Springbank on the way. Finally able to get some stuff back from Arizona, so shouldn't be the last Renegades of Funk. Unless we continue to have problems with tech support, then it'll probably just be the last tasting in general. So, all right. Well, do you want to go to the next screen there, Nick? All right. Well, history of Springbank, founded by the Reed brothers, located in Campbelltown. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, there's a bit of a lag.
Oh, okay. All right. So, founded by the Reed brothers, located in Campbelltown in the Kintyre Peninsula in Western Scotland, 1837. Purchased by John and William Mitchell. 1872, John bought out William for £5,055, and he founded Glengyle. I'm probably butchering these names. That's why I get someone else to host usually. But anyways, 1872, Alexander Mitchell joined and formed J&A Mitchell. In 1926, it was closed due to American Prohibition. 1933, it reopened. In 1960, it closed the malting facilities. 1969, J&A Mitchell purchased independent bottler Cadenhead. So, history of Springbank. 1973, the first distillation run for Longrow. 1979 was closed due to poor UK economy. 1987, reopened for limited production. 1992, reinstated in-house malting. Why don't we kind of start nosing this first one while I'm going through this, and you guys can chime in and talk a little bit about the nose. Maybe put in the comments, text about it. I don't want to bore you guys too much with some of this information, but I'll talk while you guys are nosing, and you guys can kind of just add some comments in the message board for now.
What's the first one to go, Russell?
Pardon me?
What's the first one to go?
Oh, the first one. Okay, so I thought Mike would have put that up. So we're starting with the OMC.
Yeah.
The 1993 15 year.
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll be following that up with the 2009 local barley 10 year. Okay. Someone just posted the order there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
the order is posted in the chat, and it's in the event page. It's in the correct order as well.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. My whole computer just shut down, so some technical difficulties over here.
So just does everyone sees the PowerPoint, or it doesn't?
Yeah,
work?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay.
I'm reading it. So
Okay.
all right, so 1997, first distillation run for Hazelburn. I don't know about you guys, but I think Hazelburn might be my favorite. It seems to kind of fly under the radar. It's super smooth. Unfortunately, we didn't have any in on this one, but I have a single cask coming in for the next one. So 1999 launched, whatever that says. Maybe Sheila can chime in and say that word. She knows these kind of things. Sheila, help.
Should be Demille.
Whatever that is, that sounds better than what I would have said. So that's the world's first organic single malt. Okay, so they did that in 1999. And 2022, current managed by Headley G. Wright, the fifth generation of Mitchell family to own and manage Springbank. So, Mike, you take over. I'm butchering this.
I can do it if you want. Or Mike.
We're into the nerd stuff now. Yeah, Nick, jump in, buddy. You go for it.
Okay, so it's the only distillery in Scotland to do everything on site: malting, distilling, maturing, bottling. Very rare. The only in Scotland. Some in Canada do it, but not very much. It's very, very complex distillation regime. And Springbank actually did a video. I'll try to find it and send it to you guys. Short video, like 6 minutes, about everything they do. It looks super, super hard to make some Springbank. And they do create three different kind of whiskey. So one not peated, one small peated Springbank, and Longrow heavily peated. And even the Longrow is still around 50 ppm, so it is heavy peated, but not compared to Octomores or even some Bushlidish. The fermentation can take up to 110 hours. So divide that by 24, and it makes a long one, several days. And the longer the fermentation is, the fruitier you will have a mash. So that's quite nerdy. I'm a bit sad Travis from Edmondson Scotch Club is not there. He could have went up for hours about this. Wash still is direct fired. Then you have an intermediate still and a spirit still, very classic. And distills about 0.75 million liters per year. So yeah, as I said, medium peated for Springbank. It is 2.5 time distill, which is not that rare in Scotland, but it's not that usual either. It usually goes for 2. 20% of low ones go directly to the spirit still, and the remaining are redistilled in the intermediate still. And that's the 2.5% distillation. Very classic. You combine heads, tails from initial spirit, and you distill it again and again and again. And new make is between 71 and 72, which I find is very, very a small gap. Some distilleries will have a bit of a larger gap. 1% marge is quite small. And Longrow 50 ppm, so that's nothing compared to Octomore, but combined with the kind of fruity and estery mash, it makes a very, very, very interesting whiskey, as we'll see a bit later. Double distilled on me, so that's interesting that they do separate things for the distillation process between Longrow, Springbank, and I guess Hazelburn too. Initial distillation in direct fired wash still, just like the previous one, and then a second one in the intermediate still, and new make collected at 68%, a bit lower. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Then, oh yeah, Hazelburn. This is triple distilled and unpeated, although it is distilled in the same still than Springbank and Longrow. So it's not peated, but you always have this little sulfur and I won't say peated notes, but a bit earthy notes to Hazelburn, which is super interesting, and that's probably why Ross thinks it's a very good one, and we will include some in the next one. Triple distilled, just like Irish whiskey, of course, and a new make collected at 74 to 76, a bit of a larger gap than for Springbank. And now we are on to the Springbank Old Malt Cask. Is there any question before we move on to actually drinking some whiskey? No,
We're not supposed to be drinking this already? Because if not, there's a problem.
Well,
Yeah,
We're doing our lineup already.
I'm already done.
Wow. Okay, I'm late. So Old Malt Cask, IB, very interesting. There's not many Springbank from independent bottlers, mainly because they cost a shitload of money, like we saw in recent auctions about a Springbank cask. I've asked some independent bottlers if they wanted to do some, and they said no fucking way. Too expensive, too difficult to have a cask. Springbank just doesn't want to let them go. Glen Scotia will, but Springbank is almost a no-go every time. So very, very interesting. 50%, 15 years, refill hogshead. And I don't know for you, but I find the nose is very muted on this one. Very fade. There's a bit of things like growing up. I'm just gonna cut I want to see people. All right. Do you still see the? No. Yeah. Oh, well, I can do both things. Okay, I can see you and have this. So what people say, multi-funk. Yeah.
This is really interesting. It's delicious, but I feel like it's the least Springbank I've ever had.
Yeah.
Not a knock on the whiskey, but there's certain things that you come to expect from a Springbank, and I don't know that this one has those things.
In a blind tasting, I would not guess this as a Springbank.
No, there's no way I think this is a Springbank. I'm not getting the peat. I'm getting icing sugar. I'm not getting the diesel exhaust. It's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a really good whiskey.
It could pass for an ILA.
I was gonna say
Brian.
it almost kind of tastes like a pear liqueur.
I could see.
Poor
I could see
William.
guessing this blind is like a Pulteney or something.
Mm.
It's got
Yeah,
that
because it has
briny,
that
but it's a lot lighter.
brininess for sure.
Yeah, super salty, and I do get a bit of that motor oil at the end.
Yeah, I get the
There's-
smoke coming in right at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Springbank in it, but yeah, it's very interesting. And Drew and Sheila says that's likely why it's an IB. So you think they actually like gave a cast because it wasn't up to their standards or not in the direction they wanted, and well, hey, here's a cask. Who wants it? Yeah, Cheryl and whiskey ass. Kent, you agree with this, eh?
Yeah, it's a common thing with a lot of brands. If they've got a cask that really just doesn't meet their normal standard, that they'll end up on the IB market. Although I'm surprised it's old enough that it probably didn't worry about teaspooning it.
Well, I also think it's a very interesting whiskey because there's some sherry notes, but very light. I think you could have guessed it's a refill sherry because it's not much present. Definitely not on the nose. I don't know for you guys. Maybe someone is like at the complete opposite of just what I said, but I don't feel a lot of sherry notes in it. A bit thick, a bit of the oily and more modal oil, but not that much. So I guess everyone wants to go to the next one, eh? Oh, someone has. Nope. Okay. So local barley. Oh. Does this work? Yep. 0 sherry for Jason. Everyone's at the local barley. Yep. 10 years, released in 2019. This was the second 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the second one to not include only bourbon. So 77% bourbon, 20% sherry, and 3% port. ABV is at 56.2 with an outturn of 9,000 bottles. And this is a very, very, very interesting series. I'm not sure they wanted to go like exactly that way with the 16 and 11 years old being all bourbon casks, all different barleys, and then going with some sherry casks, then port, then only sherry. The nose is super good, super tasty. You definitely have different influences on there. Chocolate right away, someone says. Very different from the new Springbank 15. Yeah. Orchard fruit. Yeah, I think there's a bit of everything in this one, and that's why it's very popular. Yeah. This is really. I think the local barley series is very interesting. They're all very good whiskeys. I've not tasted all of them. Not the 16. The other 5, yes. All very good. I'm just not so sure that local barley is at its best in all of them. Not sure it's quite an interesting series regarding barley, the different barley they used.
This is really malty.
Mm.
Definitely getting that sort of barley sugar. I'm getting. I put it in the chat. Maltesers, getting that like malt chocolate.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting because you can really have the malt, the maltiness, like you said, Myke. It's mostly. I think bourbon cask is way better than lots of sherry and other wine finishes to taste barley. It's just more fresh. It really has this this whole malted side get stronger. Although a little sherry can help, definitely.
Yeah, feel better, Eve. I got the palate really surprised me. The nose is very malty, chocolatey. It's got those dark, nice notes to it. But then you get into the palate, it's like boom, fruit. Like tropical fruit. Like you get the apples, the pears, but there's like guava and pineapple in there. I don't get any of that in the nose at all.
I think the port, although it's very small, the port is super important for the nose. That's where you get all the chocolate flavors and the heavy notes, and then you go to the palate and boom, you get this malted barley and peat at the end. Vincent, peat at the end. Yeah, exactly. On the palate, it's not that present at first. Maybe a little bit on the nose. You get all this earthiness, but not that much on everywhere else. Blue cheese. Oh wow. I haven't had blue cheese in a while, so I'm not so sure. And please feel free to open your mic at some point and just like share notes and like get on the discussion. It's not like Myke and I don't have like the whole parole, we would say in French. Soft peat at the back end, yes.
Yeah, the peat's
very good.
Peat's definitely here. Like, whereas the first one was, in a blind tasting, never in a million years would I guess that was a Springbank. This is first sip, boom, Springbank. Like, this is the prototype.
Yeah, I think this is very representative of Springbank. Like, you get so many different layers, and I think this is what people say when it's funky, the spring funk. It's really the different levels of taste you can have. And I don't know for you, but when I poured it, and now it's a complete different nose. Definitely not the same thing. Oh, diesel, Russell, diesel. Yeah, a bit of that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely get the diesel. For me, Springbank is icing sugar and diesel. That's the combination, and this has that in spades.
So Myke and Nick, what I'll do is, because not everyone's going to participate in that tasting blog there. If you want to, feel free. I'll jot down some of the notes. So please engage in it. I feel like tastings like this are ideal because Springbank has some a lot like Lechig, where it's got some really off-putting tasting notes, and I love to hear them. And I will piece them all together, and we'll get a chuckle out of all the tasting notes. So, on another note, just because I put these bottles in a tasting doesn't mean that I, feel free to shit on them. Like it's not going to hurt my feelings. I know most of you have no problem with that, but we open these bottles to assess them, right? So feel free to say that it's garbage, it's trash, right? So I want to hear all the notes, good, bad, or otherwise. Okay, always. So if you think it's garbage, put it in there. If you think it tastes like a trout in a garbage can, like a Lechig, feel free.
All right. Some people like hot garbage in their tasting.
You know what? I'll be honest. I think that's what I like about Lechig, and I think that's what I like about Springbank. You can get the same tasting notes over and over again, and like I like those oddball, really weird. In normal life, you'd think it's disgusting, but in a whiskey, for some reason, you think it's appealing. So, yeah,
definitely. It's really don't worry, Russ. I'm gonna shit on the next whiskey. Very a lot about that.
No, for sure. That whiskey deserves to be shit on a little bit because of what it's done in the secondary and what.
Oh yeah,
it's almost the downfall of Springbank, in my opinion. But we'll keep going. I won't interrupt. Go ahead.
So that's very interesting what you said about like these notes that you're looking for garbage and stuff, because I read some reviews and it's like, oh yeah, there's some sulfur notes and that's not good. Well, it really depends. If you're after a nice light sherry and bourbon, not peated, of course you get sulfur and you're disappointed. But if you get Lechik or you get a Springbank Longrow, Lafroig, and you have like this strong peated sulfur garbage note, like it's what you should expect or what you want in a whiskey. And I see a lot of reviewers, they base their note or their tasting notes, their grade and their tasting note about what they prefer. But that's not how you should like evaluate a whiskey. And I've been writing an article like for 5 years, I think, just on and off about what makes a good evaluation, and definitely having like tasting notes and your opinion is two different things. Doesn't mean it's good, it's bad. Like that's okay. That's pretty good. And your rating system it's okay too to have your own stuff. But when you have sulfur in Springbank, it's not the same as when you have sulfur in a very nice 20,000 pounds Macallan, lightly sherry, triple cask, gold shit, blah blah blah. It's not the same nose, and you shouldn't base like it's like the same. You cannot evaluate a whiskey the same way. Two whiskeys are not to be evaluated the same way. I think that's a bit forgotten for some people. But yeah, so please feel free to join and interject and say I'm wrong.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the sulfur notes, and it goes back to earlier, one of the earlier slides. It was talking about the production methodology that they have at Springbank. You don't have to go back; it doesn't matter. But the intermediate still at Springbank has a worm tub. Now, getting into the weeds a little bit here, which is kind of what I do. It's my brand. But a worm tub is a form of condenser. So you have the still, it heats up the mash, the vapors go up and it needs to be condensed. It goes down the line arm and into usually a shell and tube condenser, which is made out of copper. It's got a ton of copper in it. It goes all around and it condenses the vapor back into your distillate, your new make. Worm tubs have less copper in them. They have less area in them. So the copper throughout the still and the line arm and the condenser and all of that is designed to take sulfur out of the distillate. When you use a worm tub, it leaves more in. Now, a couple distilleries out there use worm tubs. They want that sulfur. Mortlach is one. Craigellachie is another. So these are whiskeys that are known for kind of that meaty character, and that comes from the worm tub. And that's what gives that sort of meaty, funky, sulfury experience to these Springbanks as well. But when you get a sulfur note from, as you said, Nick, earlier, a Macallan, or really any other distillery that uses shell and tube condensers, it's because they have shitty sherry casks that have been burned with sulfur candles. So you've got cask sherry, which is like rotten eggs. It's bad. It's not good. And then you've got distillate sulfur, which shows up umami and meaty, and that can be very good. So, when you're reading notes, you have to be very careful to determine where they're coming from, because beyond just the technical aspects, tasting notes are completely subjective anyway. Like, I'll come up with some notes, Adam will come up with other notes. He's right, but at least I have my own notes, right?
I so agree with that. Tasting notes is not the same as an evaluation, as grading whiskey. And like, you cannot be wrong unless you state it's smooth on the nose, smooth on the palate, and smooth on the finish, then I'm sorry to say that you are wrong. Then if it's your first whiskey, that's okay. But if it's like your fifth whiskey in your life, like you're just wrong. But otherwise, yeah, of course, like tasting notes, it's never wrong. And on Edible, you are on Flight Club. I always say, oh, I'm shy. I don't know what to write. Dude, you don't need to know what to write or where to go. Just like go large. Go like, oh, I taste barley. I taste oily side, and then you move on and on and on and on. And if you don't write them up, you'll just like you'll get stuck at this point. So yeah, tasting notes is super personal. I think unless someone has something to say, maybe Adam. I noticed like your mic is on. No, yeah, no, okay. Adam far, no. Maybe next to the next one. This is going to be interesting. Springbank, local barley, 10 years, last of the series, 2010-2020, Belgravia barley from Glen Craig's farm in Kintyre, 100% Oloroso sherry cask. And just to piss us off, 500 bottles less than the previous batch. All right. Wow. So this is like, I'll be like straight off the bat. This is super good. It's a very good whiskey. This is my third taste. Nose is all sherry, all Oloroso, very rich, very nutty, very faint peat, like super small earthiness to it, mostly fresh. Mm.
So yeah, I mean, this is a solid ex-bourbon cask Springbank. It's not bad.
Yep. So, yeah, I get some vanilla and caramel. No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of spices going on for me. Leather, yes, leather, dusty resin, definitely, and it's great notes. I really like leather and super rich notes in a whiskey. What I find in some Lechek. It has everything for it. Like it has this spring funk. Peat is there, not so much on the nose, I think. Then you get some super nice notes associated to sherry, to Oloroso. It. I'll start like this is the positive side. It has everything for it. Everything you want in a Springbank, it has it. The price, the innovability, everything. Oh yeah, cardamom.
This is like Christmas in a glass.
Yeah, Christmas pudding.
Like I'm just gonna go distill a gingerbread house, and it's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah, so this is like, in all honesty, this is a really good whiskey. $200 any day. $250, yeah, sure. $300, yeah, I'd start asking questions, but I'd still take it. Over 300, I'd be a bit pissed, you know. I 350, I would get it, but oh my god, like just for the sake of having it, nice. Yeah, Kent, show us the goodies. So we're gonna take a break, a 10-minute break. I have to go to the bathroom, seeing the open bottle of Kent's open bottle, and then come back. I need some tissues. So yeah, this is super good, but at the same time, what the fuck is it doing here? like it's not a local barley. It just doesn't make any sense. Do anyone taste like what Belgravia is different from Optic and from the different farm? Fuck, I don't. Like, I just don't see the point. This should be just a limited release and move on and just hike the price at like $375, just like they did for the 17 Madeira. And I could see this in the upcoming Sherry series. Oh, wow. Yeah.
This is a great Springbank and a terrible local barley.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the way I don't know. Sure, like it's not entirely Springbank fault with the flippers. Some of the grievance could be attributed to them, but yeah, that whiskey was just stupid. Like as soon as they released it in Europe, you could see this was going to be a nightmare. Both, how do you really feel about it? I agree. Yeah, Adam. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like this is the best and the worst of Springbank combined in the bottle for me. And I've not been into Springbank a whole lot of time, but this is the best and the worst of whiskey combined. It's crazy. Just someone interject, please. Please tell me I'm wrong. I don't know, Myke. What do you think?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong, Ross.
You're not wrong.
Oh wow, I just love it. I snagged the bottle at retail. I was super lucky, and at retail 2 months ago, not when it released. Thanks to Eric Van Hove in Quebec. But man, yeah, I don't know. Someone please tell us what you think, Adam.
Yeah, Springbank at retail's really good value. It's just secondary gets stupid.
It's almost
So you need to join all the collectors clubs and find out where all the people live, so you know which houses to break in.
it takes the fun out of it. You know, the here in Quebec, Springbank is so inaccessible. It's done via lottery, and there's a good chance that some of it's kind of fucked around with, pardon my language, before it actually gets drawn. And it just makes it next to impossible to even get a chance to enjoy it outside of these tastings, or if you're fortunate enough to have a friend who got one who wants to open it to share. But otherwise, all the popular stuff, all the new stuff from Springbank is gone before you even have a chance to read the first review.
Yeah, well, that's kind of
thing
what
here in Alberta.
trying to do here is we try and get these bottles in and try them before we all scramble and spend $600 on a bottle. You know, like it's unfortunate what's going on at the border these days with everything going through Hamilton and being hung up. But you know, we like to try and put together some tastings before these things hit Canada in general. You know, so
It's because they're all stopping at Mike's house.
yeah, they are stopping them, but Mike's holding them up.
I'm not holding them up. I'm just drinking them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Nick, you're doing a bang up job tonight, by the way. I just wanted to let you know. I appreciate you joining us. Long overdue. And Myke, as usual, thanks for your nerdiness.
It's what I do.
And thanks, Ross, for putting this up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No problem.
I have to say I was a bit nervous. It's my first English tasting, so that was like the hardest part.
He's a virgin.
It's the second half in French.
Nick, we would have never known.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not sure. Wait
I really
for
wish that I had the next one. We'll have you back on, Nick, but I got all of my single cask US exclusive releases coming back right now. An 18-year-old single, all under 300 bottles.
And
all under an 18-year, an 8-year, and an 11-year. Fresh port, fresh sherry, and a Sauternes. However you pronounce that. That's
we're talking, Russ. Now we're talking.
Yeah, I know.
Aren't those all the bottles that I saw Travis popping last night?
Yeah, actually, he met up with my old man in Arizona, so thankfully he's got them all in hand now, so they're starting to come back slowly, thankfully. And I got a Hazelburn single cask. That one is a bourbon, a single cask bourbon Hazelburn.
That'll be nice. That'll really showcase the distillate.
I think so. So,
Don't get me
anyways.
wrong. I love a sherry Hazelburn, but I would love to try a bourbon one.
Yeah, I like the bourbon.
Oh, nice, Jeff. Jeff with the good stuff. Nice. Yeah. So all in all, I think this this local bar is a great whiskey on its own. Definitely worth it at retail. Maybe a slight premium on it. I don't mind, and that's part of the game. But otherwise, it's just super frustrating. And honestly, I got a bottle. I'm missing the 16-year-old, but as soon as I get one, and I'm crossing my fingers, I'll get one sooner or later from a friend. That's going to be a NWO local barley tasting for sure with Ross animating and reading. All right, so are you ready for some Longrow? You need a break? No, everyone's ready, right? Yeah.
I guess
think so.
if we're not going to have a 62 local barley, we can move on to the Longrow.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Let's get smoky.
So yeah, Renegade of Smokes, single cask, 2002, 2008, so 16 years old, fresh sherry hogshead. So that's going to be very nice. Pacific Edge wine and spirits, so I guess that's from the States. 50.3% and 252 bottles outturn. So I already drank that. This is quite an interesting one. So Longrow is more peatier. I thought the nose wasn't that much. You could smell it. I was expecting a bit more, and that kind of threw me off the hook. Super good, don't get me wrong. Super, super, super tasty. I just was expecting more smoke, which probably is a mistake, to be honest. And then you move on to the palate, and you get so much going on. So much. And this is, and I don't own a lot of Longrows. I actually don't own any anymore. But it's like everyone's going crazy on Springbank. Well, everyone can move on to Longrow, I think, and Hazelburn instead of Springbank in its own. Wonder what. I have no idea. Kent and Cheryl, I haven't tasted that one. Getting a bit of dill, yeah, Drew and Sheila. That's a good point. Like there's kind of a acidic side to Longrow, I find. Except if it's in wine casks, a bit of acid. Acid. I don't know. No, probably that's not the right word. Well, acid side back from the 60s. It's definitely interesting. Ginseng. Yeah, it's really, really, really spicy. This one is super spicy, super good. Lots going on, as I said. Maybe not a Christmas dram, but I could see that in an Albertan glass when it's pouring about 50 centimeters of snow, or what we had here in Timmins. Well, here, I'm in Ottawa, but in Timmins like a week ago, minus 51. Yeah, that could be very, very, very good whiskey to have. Yeah, everyone's doing a very good job. So that's quite interesting, Vince. It's thicker than Springbank. Yes, I think you are on to something here. There's just yes, what section in love laws. Yeah, so thicker. That's quite interesting. Is it, Vince? Is it thicker, more oily, or just more thick? What do you think? Don't know if he has his mic on. Vincent de Rome. Do you have your mic on? No. Yeah, I think it's more oily. Yeah, Yeah, petrol on the nose, and yes, oily Paul. Yes, I agree. I think the sherry is quite present, but mixes so well with peat. A good peated sherry whiskey, medium peated in my terms, at 50 ppm, super good. I don't know if Myke, you can tell us, like, is it 50 ppm before distillation or after? I guess before.
I'm guessing before. I'm guessing that's what they get from the malt floor.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for sure. I know that when you're reading ppm numbers from different distilleries, it can be at the still or from the malt floor, and those two things can be very different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know almost nobody rebel before smell concept edition. Yeah, that's right. I know Highland Park states it, not on the bottles or anything, but when you visit, they actually tells you, like, look, it's 6 ppm before distillation, so there's barely any peat left. Much ppm we lose afterwards? It's Vincent. How much do ppm we lose afterwards? Really depends on the distillation process. But like for Highland Park, I think it's 10, 12 the peatier you get, and it will fall down to 2 and 3. For Springbank and for Longrow, I'm not quite sure. I think you lose at least half. Myke, want to interject? No.
No.
So
That's
the
good.
Chilean website says ppm is post kilning, the phenol content post kilning, but before being used in the rest of the distillation process.
Yeah, that makes sense, Ian. Thank you. No, so Vincent, no, there's no real general rule. You will lose a bit of the peated aspect when you mature the whiskey. The longer you mature, the less peat you'll get. Then again, like, it really depends on the weather and where it is stashed. Is it stashed by the sea, like Talisker says, which is not by the sea, by the way? It's just mainland in super big warehouse, except for the show. Yeah, Kent. Yeah, you've been there. Yeah, that's super funny. Yeah, we age it by the sea. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a big fat lie. Most distilleries, by the way, do have some huge warehouse on the mainland, and they just stock whiskey there. Yeah.
Yeah, like half of Glasgow is whiskey warehouses.
Yeah.
There's no room to store all those casks in most of these distilleries.
Yeah, so like there's a whole debate about terroir, and but for wine, yes, absolutely, there is terroir in wine. For whiskey, well, maybe, but I guess except a few distilleries, like, it's very hard to say. When you don't control all the process and you don't have the time and the management to put everything together and side by side, there's no way to tell if terroir really exists. And distillation, like, takes off so many things. So if someone ever tells you, oh my God, no, I don't drink whiskey because it's just way too fat or too sugar, or like, oh, I don't remember the word, like the new allergy that's super popular. Like, no, it's not. No, there's barely any sugar left. There's definitely no fat, even if it's a brown alcohol. Yeah, so, and the other half is for strength, but yeah. No gluten. Yeah, thank you, Ian. Yeah, so whiskey is very gluten proof. You can have that if you're gluten intolerant. Yeah, Jeff, you have a question? Jeff L? No? Or just okay. Yeah, just so terroir. You gotta roll the R. Terroir.
It's not
So
that's why it works better with wine.
Yeah. Probably. So I have to say, I was born in France. I was born in Burgundy. My mom is French. Terroir. Yeah, Brayden, you're not that far. Yeah, I have a very, very soft spot for French wine, and I kind of sound like a jerk by saying this, but yeah, French wine is fucking good.
Come
Anyone
on,
wanna
the
say-
Niagara on the Lake stuff is so delicious, said no one ever.
Yeah,
I come from
Said someone who
BC,
hasn't
so
drank Pearl Morissette.
Sorry, Braden.
Yeah, but when you're poking around the liquor store in France and the bottle is less than €1, you can't expect that much.
No, that is very true. Very,
Yeah,
very true.
we bought a few like 40-cent euro bottles, and you get what you pay for, even though it was French wine.
Well, because just like in whiskey, there's a lot of shit being said on labels and by wineries, especially French ones. And I say this, I think I'm totally entitled to say it as a half French, and so half French and half French Canadian. So that's like 2/3 French. Yeah, French people, like, wow, they talk shit way more than Quebecers. So that's a lot. Yeah, but bad wine is bad wine. Yeah, that is true. Like a cheap Burgundy, cheap Bordeaux is like, it just sucks. But it's 47 cents, so that's good.
but this is good whiskey.
Yeah. So back to whiskey.
Older Longrows are interesting.
Yeah, the older two Longrows. Yeah, thank you, Myke. You see how my classes go in sports. I start a subject and it just never ends. We talked about which red to go first, and we couldn't decide because we have no idea what Malbec and the difference between Malbec and Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon will bring, like which one would be better. So if you want, we can do just a head-to-head contest. Maybe smell each, then taste each, and then go back. I'm trying to see not so much the whiskey in itself, but more the difference. And I'll move the PowerPoint. All right.
Good night, Brian. Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Oh, see you, Brian. So the 10 years old, bottle in 2020, bourbon barrels, and 3 years in Riffle Malbec, 52.5, 10,000 bottles. And the Chilean Cabernet, 13 years old, 2020, also bourbon and sherry first, then a finish in Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon, 51.6 and 9,000 bottles. So there's 1,000 people at least that don't have the full series. This is very, very sad. And all right.
Should we do like the double nosing?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's like,
one Glencairn per nostril. Yeah, Braden's got it.
Oh yeah.
My brain just exploded.
Yeah, actually, Jason, I really agree with that. More wine from Jeff from the Malbec. Yeah, so that's interesting. I think you might get more wine on the Malbec because it's bourbon and then Malbec Barrique, although refill, and the 13 years old is bourbon and sherry. Oh, that's nice. Pinot Noir, yeah, Pinot Noir is great, fucking great. Chilean is sweeter on the nose. Yeah,
we got to do a triple, not just dual like you guys.
I know what you're doing afterwards. So, we talked a bit about evaluation and grading and stuff. So comparing two whiskeys is a bit hard. It's a bit of a hard trick. How do you compare a Macallan with a Longrow? It's not the same purpose. It's not the same purpose behind it. You might want to compare a Glenallachie with a Glendronach, for instance. The goal is the same. Like I'm just talking like sherry wine, not the fancy finish. The goal is the same, about the same. So that's what is interesting by doing these two Longrows side by side. Both want to showcase a peated side to a different wine. And you can judge, like you can really like pinpoint what's better, what works better for you, and which one is actually better than the other because it's the same objective. And the whole series is interesting with that. Chilean over Malbec. That's interesting. Mhm.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, it really is.
So, as much as I enjoyed the single sherry cask, the 16-year-old, I like my Longrows a little younger. I like them a little bit more brash and feisty, and these two are definitely that.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting thing. I usually like stronger, more peated whiskey younger because it goes out like more. Just like with Ardbeg, I really did not like the Ardbeg 19. It was not a bad whiskey. It's just for me, Ardbeg Peak is better young. And I think I agree with you on that one, Myke. The Longrow, the younger Longrow, has a bit more power to the peated side and to the dirty, funky side.
When I drink Longrow, I want to punch in the face. I'm expecting it. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Myke likes it rough.
Go ahead, Ross.
Said Myke likes it rough.
Oh, I do. Man, these are such different whiskeys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have more. It's funny because I thought the Malbec was winier on the nose, but the bourbon sides goes out a bit more on the Malbec than on the Chilean.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe I don't know, Russ, if or if anyone does Longrow 100% bourbon exist somewhere, maybe single cask.
Yes, it does. Yep.
Fuck, that must be good.
I may be able to get one. But
Are the regular Longrow releases not 100% bourbon?
Sorry?
I believe they're vattings of various cask types. And Adam, to answer your question, that 17 Chardonnay is the best Longrow I've ever had. And that's not changing tonight. All three of these whiskeys are great, but that 17 is not it's not in the same universe. Find me another Longrow with bubblegum. I dare you. Adam knows what I'm talking about.
Big True, right, Myke?
Big League Chew, that's the one. This is fun, putting these two side by side.
And I've been doing this more and more often, having like two sherry bombs side by side, two bourbon casks side by side. It's a very good way to put things in perspective. It's easy to have some notes and already, but yeah, having them side by sides or blind, like this is the best. And is anyone here gonna go to Myke's tasting tomorrow, the blind one? Yes, I see some. Yeah, Sheila. Yeah, I think that's gonna be super interesting too. Like going fully blind, not like no notes, no cast, no nothing. That's gonna be nice. And I think doing side by sides and blind is really the way to. I wouldn't say appreciate the most the whiskey, but definitely having the most challenge and challenging yourself. Like yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I see a lot of the Longrow Reds are my fav of this set. Yep. So I see Ross, you take a lot of notes. Don't forget to drink whiskey at some point.
I'm writing down everyone else's notes for the. I think it would be nice to have, like we discussed, having a kind of a legacy for this tasting as to what the notes look like, and we can look back and just that's kind of what I really liked your idea, Nick, and thanks for that. Just taking down all the tasting notes and kind of putting them together in a just like a legacy for the tasting. Yeah, best way I can put it. But good,
Now,
bad, or
wanna
otherwise.
go? Sorry.
What's that?
Oh, sorry, that was me. I didn't know I was unmuted.
Well, go ahead, Adam. You started. Let's go.
Oh, with notes?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So I actually have my bottle of Longrow Red Cab Sav with me here.
Mm.
So this is probably my favorite Longrow to date. I like it about the same as that Chardonnay finish that Myke has. This one to me is just super savory, like mushroom stock, but also quite sweet and nutty. And it's got that same like maltiness that I've gotten from these Springbanks that we've tried, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I think Springbank has maybe lost a bit of its nice touch, but Longrow and Hazelburn has been all out, like really, really all out as a general. Of course, like 10, 15, 12 are super good. Although 12, like there's some ups and downs. I'd like to see more of what they did with batch 21, mixing the cast. I think the 50-50 bourbon sherry is getting a bit boring. But yeah, there's like Longrow and Hazelburn is definitely a very, very nice way a very nice point to go in Springbank distilleries. That and Kilkerran, like it's been all out. Kilkerran recently is wow, just fucking blast. Yeah, so very good question from Joss. Which was the funkiest? Which was the most Springbank you were like waiting for? I might have Myke start with this one.
I think the funkiest was the single cask Longrow, the 16. I think the time in the cask mellowed the peat enough to where that funkiness really shone through.
I think funkiest, I would agree. I think best would be the local barley 10, not the Oloroso, the other one.
I agree. That's my favorite of the night.
I think it's the favorite, which is like super funny to say because you want Springbank for its funk, and then the one I enjoyed the most was not the funkiest one. Braden is LB10 2019 was the funkiest for my palate. Yeah, super good. And Drew and Sheila, so you did the Springbank tour, I guess?
Yes. And the Cadenhead tasting is an add-on that you can put at the end. So after your tasting, you walk down to Cadenheads, and it happened to be there was a bunch of American business, like rich fucks, that the same thing as us. And at the end, these guys are just picking bottles off the shelf, like 1930 to whatever else, and buddies just pour it around, do whatever you want, and these guys were just paying for stuff.
Wow,
it's good tasting. It was 10 pounds, and
wow. So everyone hates you and right now and jealous of you. That's such a nice feeling.
Also, Caden heads, go and get the live bottles.
yeah, they got a lot of live casks that you can just pour, like fill your own bottles, whatever you want.
Wow.
It's well worth it.
Yeah, that's so nice when they do when distilleries do special things like this. I've done 4 distilleries: Talisker, Cane. I don't know why I just stopped there. Highland Park and Scapa. And there's so much difference between all of them. Scapa was a big disappointment, like very boring, and they didn't want me to buy anything. I said, like, here's my credit card, like, just charge me anything you want for any of the not available bottle for the public. And they were like, oh no, we don't sell. Highland Park was very nice, the most expensive tour. Having to taste a 45 years old Highland Park is very special, to be honest. In the Magnus room, super fucking good. Host can mute him. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. But at the same time, I found a tour, which was the last one I didn't have, and it retailed when it got out at 180 pounds, 190 pounds, which was expensive. And I said, look, I'm missing that one. I want to have that one, so I'll pay for it. And the lady first told me, oh, you didn't get the Viking Gods tour, so you cannot buy it. I was like, what the fuck? Viking tour is 100 pounds. I just paid 250 pounds for tour. And you're telling me I cannot buy a bottle? Like, oh, yeah. And the guy who drove me from Centertown to the series, like, what the fuck, man? No, that doesn't work. And they called me back and said, well, we can sell it to you 2 days later, 400 pounds. So they doubled the price. I was like, okay, sure, I'll get it, but fuck you. So they sold
We're gonna buy this, but we're gonna buy this angry.
Oh yeah, I bought it. I was super, super fucking pissed. Like, wow. So the whole experience was great until the point I wanted to buy something. Scapa was boring. Talisker was nice, although it's a bit sad they don't have their like big warehouse. I think it's just a shame to have such a nice place with no big warehouse. And Cane was fucking nice. You would not expect that from them. It was 2012, so you didn't get any official bottles from them except some 72, 73, 75, 30, 35, 40 years old whiskeys. And wow, you paid 20 pounds and you had amazing whiskeys just because they are lesser known and basically no one stops there. So yeah, distillery tour can do so much, so much, and it's very, very nice to do.
I know
well, you're much more level-headed than I am. I would have thrown that bottle back at him and made sure it shattered a bunch of bottles. Here's your $400.
Most of the distilleries, if you are going for your first time, if you click on, like, if they've got 3 or 4 different tours and you click on one and it says it's sold out, check the other ones, because a lot of times the first person for that morning or whatever to select whatever tour it is, that's the one they're giving. So they close the other ones.
Oh.
Not all the distilleries, but a lot of them are that way.
That's a good trick to know. Yeah, some distilleries have like 5, 6, 7 tours, ranging from 10 pounds to 200 pounds. I know Springbank did a full week of well, I'm not gonna say tasting and tour, but wow, I hope they still do it, and I hope I'll be able to do it like a whole week at Springbank. I go fucking nuts.
Oh, yeah. You talking the Springbank distillery class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you actually work in the distillery?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. where
You-
the guys
you
laugh
get a
at
little
you
bit of
because you
monkey
paid to
shoulder on
work.
your own because you do the turning of the malt, like you do the maltings on the floor, and then you go down to the distillery floor and do that for a while, and you kind of work your way through every job. I think Lefroy or Lagavulin, I can't remember which, has different chores that include things like spending half a day out working the peat field, where you're like cutting peat. It is not a job I want to do. I'm definitely too out of shape. I'm lazy.
You're a shape.
I'm just laughing. Work half a day. You're paying us to work for us for free. Awesome. This is a great deal for us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You'd think their whiskey would be cheaper, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
free labor.
The problem is for every hour of work you do for them, they have to take 2 hours to fix your fuck ups.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
And you
gonna
have
say.
to send somebody out to teach you and somebody else to supervise.
Yeah,
and
it's-
probably
you're-
not a cheap thing for them.
Yeah, they're
Phil Holman
probably
used to do
not
a
making
class,
money
too,
on this.
I think.
Yeah, but you see, like how, like this is how I've learned that this is how the world of whiskey works. Like they take us for granted, they shit on us, they think we're fucking stupid and dumbass because they can charge whatever they want, and they're right. Like we'll buy whatever they put in front of us at whatever the price, and sure, everyone's pissed because the prices will be jacked up next year, and we'll still buy the same thing at the end of the year. Exact same thing. We don't mind. Sure, maybe Macallan has a bit of like backlash, but then again, people still buy Macallan because they wouldn't produce the 12 triple cask diluted. I'm not even sure it's really 40%. I'm sure SAQ does its own like proofing, and it's not 40%, and people still buy it. So sure, I'll pay £1,000 to work for free for Springbank any day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Lefroy. They'll lend you the rubber boots so you can trunch your way out to your square footage, and have they like done
Your tiny little
yeah
flag,
your tiny little flag. You can plant it and have your dram in the middle of a swamp, and people do it like 100%. I would like I'm wandering out there.
See, Nick, I actually kind of have a problem with you telling us that you would pay whatever, because if we have too many people like you, they're just going to keep jacking it because it's just business. It's what the market will bear. So if people are still buying the product, they will just keep jacking it. So if everybody like you that keeps buying it stops buying it, the price will go down.
No,
that's just not going to happen.
I do agree. I'm gonna quit whiskey. No, just kidding. No, but I agree. It's Nick's fault. Fuck. Man, Ross, I'm never coming back again, Russ. And you can forget me. No, but yeah, I do get it. And you see all these these two groups on Facebook selling like the resale, the secondary market, and sure, that's what I said. Like $200 for the local Barley Oloroso, it's retail, fine. Give me $25 over, fine. $50 over, well, okay, fine. But more than that, like I would not do it. I would be too pissed. I would not do it. The only reason I bought that bottle of Tor at £400 was because I was there. I was super pissed, and I just had money to waste. But otherwise, yeah, I really try to, especially in 2021 and definitely in 2022, to say, well, if I don't get it, fuck it. Just I'll move on. And there's so much whiskey coming through Alberta right now. Steven and Travis are doing like freaking an awesome job at
It's
bringing.
also coming off the shelf as quickly as it's coming.
Yeah. In Nick's defense, they're dealing with an unfair deck of cards in Quebec, and lucky for us, we're in Alberta where it's just rains bottles of whatever we want. It's unfair, but it is what it is, and hopefully this group can unite some people together. And that's not the case, right? We're all here for the same cause. unfortunately for those in Quebec and Ontario, they're at a severe disadvantage for the most part compared to us Albertans. But it is
so, Nick,
what
as I give you a hard time about your bottle spending, I put this on my shelf last week.
I bet that was not.
That was probably just found that in an Alberta shelf.
I just pulled it off a shelf.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? Secondary market is very, very interesting, because paying double, triple, or 4 times over for like a dark oak that was released 6 times.
I used to
6
pay
years ago.
$76 for that.
What?
$76 what I used to pay for dark oak
when it first came out.
Yes, last week.
No,
a few years back, but
okay, yeah. So yeah, but you know that's the point. Like 6, 7, 8 years ago, a bottle that was released that is legendary. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the jacked up prices, but I understand it. But having a whiskey, like wow, man, someone offered me a Springbank 12. He got it at SAQ lottery last June. And he told me, "Oh, it's $200." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? You just got it for 112. Like, please, at least wait 6 months, man. You're flipping it like the next day. That pisses me off." And those people, I have no like, I can shit on them, and I tell them like, "Go fuck yourself." And some people have asked me, "Oh, what do you think this bottle is worth, dude? It's worth retail. You just got it." Like, "Oh yeah, but what do you think it's worth? Like, what could I sell it for?" Fuck, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you, man. You're just gonna flip and fuck someone. Like, no, it's retail. Like, sure, it released like 6, 7, 8 years ago. You know, it's like, I don't know, great wine, blah blah blah. I understand. I don't agree. I understand the premium. I'm okay with paying a premium, or trading at a premium. That I can totally understand. Trading at like the real not retail value, but yeah, definitely some, and it's a shame. Well, what I like most about NWO is how people help each other. And Russ, like, good job for putting this up. I think anyone in this group, no, Jeff doesn't agree. He hates NWO. Just I think anyone this tasting and on the group would like cut a hand to help someone else, and like that's really great.
Russell.
Well, yeah, getting on the topic of secondary markets is never really it's a touchy subject. You know, it's, in my opinion, it's a necessary evil for. It's unfortunate, but it's the way that a lot of people across Canada get their drams right now, and I mean, it'd be nice if it wasn't necessary, but it is. So
my answer
it's not necessary for us.
Market is bottle pop challenge.
Bottle
pop open.
Yeah.
I keep saying that places should make people open the bottles before they leave the store. That's the first solution. It's fucking crazy, but that they should do it. That's the only way.
Yep.
I
like that idea.
I'd be sitting on a lot of open bottles right now.
Hey, that means you got to drink them, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. I see your point. But,
no, they don't have to pop the cork. Just cut the plastic. That's all.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. No, that's great.
No, but you see, like, that's the point. Like, no one here would, well, I think would like put capitalism like back in its pocket and say, well, let's go communism, let's go Russia and stuff like that. But it doesn't need to be fucking savage. Like, that's the whole point of, I think, the 99% movement, the Wall Street movement and stuff. Like, sure, secondary, I get it. I'm okay with it. Just don't be a fucking savage. Don't flip a bottle you just got. Don't buy a bottle just to flip it. Except if it's Pappy 23, that I'm totally okay with it. Just buy it and trade it for $2,000 of worth of whiskey, of scotch. But otherwise, it's
yes.
There's no point.
I think the bottom line is, Nick, we got to start. We just got to try these bottles before we even buy them. We're buying them on the premise that they are exactly what we're expecting to get. You know, we're paying blind, and you know, and I hope that's the number one goal of number one goal of this group is just try these things. You know, before let's spend our money wisely. We all have our retirement bottles. We all have our bottles that we're sitting on that, you know, we don't want to open. We just want to wait for a special occasion. Let's try these bottles. We don't even know what we're sitting on. So, you know,
So that's why you got to buy two.
You're not sitting on any bottles, Kent. You open every
Sheila
bottle.
opened her master's bottle and cried.
It was the most disgusting, horrible, crappy whiskey ever.
The Valentin Mallet with Deer of Rookladdy.
Oh yeah, that was atrocious.
I'm still waiting for that sample, Adam.
Yeah, I don't have very much left, but trust me, it's all you need.
Yep.
You don't need much.
That's a single sipper.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
All right. So moving on here, I've got a Springbank 9 local barley, which I believe is 2018. And then I've got a 10 local barley, which is 2017. Nick?
Yep.
What am I pouring?
The 9. The 9. Definitely the 9.
I'd go with the 9 too.
The 9?
Yeah.
All right.
The
hive mind has spoken.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kent.
Sorry, Nick, not to jump on you, but
no, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I've had both of those, and the 9 definitely wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not sure because I haven't tasted the 16, but from what I've read, the 16 was really, really good. And
it is really, really good. I've had a sample of it.
Yeah. Well, being a good whiskey it was a big step down, and then they went back up with the 10 2017 and the 9 then. But the 9 definitely hits a lot of good spots. Might be the best.
Let's bring in the funk. I'd like Bootsy Collins in a glass.
Yeah. I got your back, Mike.
Thank you, sir. I think after this, I'm probably going to have to go up the stairs and grab that Longrow 17.
Oh, yes.
It just wouldn't be a Springbank night without that.
I'll
You know
join
what?
you with
You
that
really
one.
actually need to do the 11.
The red 11?
Yeah.
Oh, the Pinot. Yeah, I've had a couple samples of that. It is exceptional.
It is. I'm sorry, I beat the other two out tonight. It's my favorite of the night.
Like that Longrow 17s, that's Chardonnay at 54.6.
I don't know the ABV, but yeah, the 17, that was the Alberta single cask.
I got a snap.
I have it here. It's
bourbon and then finished in.
Awesome. I had a sample. I didn't even know I had it. So join.
That is the best Longrow I've ever had. It is a spectacular whiskey. Absolute oddball. Yeah, finished in Chardonnay casks. It's total oddball, unlike any whiskey I've ever had before, which is why I like it so much.
Sweet.
It has notes of Big League Chew.
Oh,
if you can believe that.
I'm gonna have to pour myself some Big League Chew right now. I got just
there you go. So just going back through the empty glasses, I think my favorite of the night was the first local barley. Just because it was just straight up, this is what I want Springbank to be every time I pour a Springbank. Beautiful whiskey. But I got to tell you, that OMC was really cool. It wasn't like a Springbank, but it was a really cool whiskey.
That one exceeded my expectations, big time. You're right though. It wasn't a prototypical Springbank, but it was better than I expected.
you never know what you're going to get from an OMC. Like Douglas Lang, in my opinion, it's one of the least consistent IBs out there. But that was a really interesting whiskey. I dug it.
Do you have any local barley 10 left in your glass?
Which one? The Oloroso or the not Oloroso?
The 09, the 2009.
It's pleasant on the
Be
nose.
the second one in our
port,
list. Yeah, the port.
I have a little bit left in the sample bottle.
Compare it to the 9 that you're drinking.
Nine is definitely punchier.
Yeah.
Certainly the ethanol has not been tamed down as much.
There's 1.5% difference between them. The 9 is 57.7 and the 10 is 56.2. But I think the youth on it.
Similar in terms of the orchard fruits. Similar in terms of the funkiness. The 9 is hotter, for sure.
Definitely hotter.
Definitely hotter. I feel like the bourbon casks were more active. I'm getting more like kind of that fennel, licoricey vibe from the bourbon casks. There's some cotton candy at the end. It's good. It's punchy. It's a little rowdy compared to the 10 that we had.
Are you a town boy or a farm boy? Were you a town boy growing up or a farm boy?
I grew up in town, but my whole family was on the farm. So I spent a lot of time in both worlds.
When you get the really big hay bales, I don't know about there, like your straw when they're wet. Remember that musty, raw, just downright, the barn smell that you got out of them?
I might even take it a little further and go with silage.
That works perfectly. Most people don't really understand what silage smells like. So
yeah, I know what silage smells like. I know what silage tastes like. Yeah, like I said, spent time in both worlds.
That's what I really get out of the local barley. It's the first thing that hits my nose. And I was really, every year that they produce this, I bought a bottle and we were kind of doing back to back to back because I bought 2 of each. We could drink one, and then when I got to 3, we'd do them side by side. But I had a chance. I was offered this year's 10 by somebody that won it on a thing, and then he turned around and reneged on it and offered it back to me for $400. And I don't.
Get the fuck out!
Unfortunately, it was part of our group. No names meant.
To protect the innocent and the guilty.
I was a little.
I agree with you. I want that silage, that straw, that wet hay, that barnyard. That's what I want out of the local barley. And as good a whiskey as that Oloroso LB is, and make no mistake, it's an excellent whiskey, it doesn't have that. The cask stepped all over it. If I tried that blind, I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it. I have no doubt.
But
It
you
was
would not
great
call
whiskey.
it a
I have
local
no
barley.
problem with it. But knowing that it's supposed to be a local barley, I did find it a little disappointing.
Yep.
I found it a lot disappointing, actually. It was a great whiskey, like you say, but I wouldn't call it a local barley. I'd call it a sherry barley.
It should be in the upcoming sherry series.
Yep, exactly.
And then again, it's gonna be, I think, a sherry finish series, which is a fantastic idea. But like this local bar is, well, it has no purpose. I mean, it just felt like it's a release to make a release, and that's it. And that's what I told also Myke about the last of the distill release. Leche was fucking insane. The instant was okay. It wasn't bad. The island smoke was great. But Tobermory and Bunnahabhain just like, oh, we need a limited release. What do we have in store? Okay, yeah, sure. We're gonna release that, and that's it. If they wanted to make a really great whiskey, the Bunnahabhain would have been a Moina, sherry and port. But it's just like it's a release because everyone's expecting a release, and that's pretty much it. That's a shame.
It's like, hey, we got to release this year. What are we going to do? And I'm wondering if they pulled the wrong cask.
Yeah.
Because you look at 9 and 10 side by side, they're both like just straight up straw colored, right? There's no color difference, right? Like that's the 9, and the 10.
Yeah, here's the 9 in a glass.
Yeah, right. And then you put this last 10 up against it, and it's just black, right? It's like, wait a minute, these are straw and that's black. How do you call that? Like too much influence from the cask.
Oh yeah, exactly. And as much as some people say that Waterford is not good, well, at least they fucking try. Like at least they try to. Well, it might not be a huge success, although I think it's okay. It's not bad. They try to.
I don't find them horrible for what they are.
Nope.
I like the Waterfords, yeah. And give them time, and I'm confident they'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I look at it like 2 brewers. Like I tried 2 brewers back at number 2, and they were not good until about number 8. I really started enjoying it. Of course, when I hit 8, then then I'm trying to buy back to number 2 again because I want the collection. And number 1, well, that's just gone. But
well, those samples you sent me, Ken, the maple didn't like it at all because it didn't really taste like whiskey. But that peated,
that was a straight up dessert. And the thing is, that was so limited, and everybody wants it. It's absolutely ridiculous how sought after it is.
But that peated cask you sent me, god damn, that was a tasty whiskey.
Myke, I need to send you another set of samples because you thought that peated was good. I'm gonna just get your mind.
Ooh, you have my attention, sir.
I'll put together a sample kit for you.
I've got some new stuff coming in as well. I need to put another kit together for you. So
awesome.
We're due.
Yes, I think we're well overdue. Actually, it's been that was last year, wasn't it? Holy.
Yeah, that was. I think that was in the summer. We're at least 6 months out.
Oh God, we are so overdue then. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a delivery that's coming in tomorrow, I hope, depending on the weather. I have a 1987 Bunnahabhain on the way.
Excellent. Oh, that would
it's
be
a Wemyss, the Leather and Heather.
Okay, you just kind of made me drool.
I'll be adding a new oldest whiskey to the cabinet. 31 years old.
Nice.
Legit.
Pretty excited for that one.
I think what my oldest actually is a grain, but it's like 1965.
Yeah. Right now, my oldest is the Black Art 8.1, I think, 26 years old.
Myke, you're shocking me. An 8.1, not a 4.1?
Oh, I got the 4.1.
Oh, okay. So,
I got 3 through 8. I'm pretty okay in the Black Art situation. I have a bead on a 2, but the guy wants way too much money for it. So
How much is he wanting for that?
800.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money for a bottle of whiskey.
I know.
In fact, that's almost twice as much as the most I've ever spent on a bottle of whiskey. So
No, I just did that myself here.
ooh, what? Oh, the Cavalan. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a beauty.
That's a beauty. The thing is that somebody breaks into my house, I'm gonna kill him with the cork.
That's a beefy cork. That one. That thing is,
That is significant.
It is ridiculous. That thing, if you throw that at somebody, you're gonna kill him.
Ian, is that Inchgower an OB or an IB?
Oh, an Inchgower 31. Ooh, that is
Oh, the
tasty.
Dunvegan. Very nice.
Cool.
I've had some like just dark horse, shockingly good whiskey out of Dunvegan.
Yeah, it's my second bottle actually. I went through the first one pretty damn quick and managed to grab it while it was still reasonably priced. Well, reasonably priced.
Yeah, quote unquote. Oh, Adam, that Anarch 24 is so good.
You guys ever see
It
this
really
bottle?
grew on me as well. I didn't love it at first. I thought it was too oaky, too leathery. But the bottle's been nearly empty for a long time, and it took that much air for it to really get going. I think I'm gonna pour some of that. Give me a second.
Yeah, do it. Oh, I had 2 samples of that Anarch 24, and it was fantastic.
There we go. There it is.
I don't want to get the hype train going on Anarch, but they put out some goddamn good whiskey.
No, it's horrible stuff. Don't buy it.
Yeah, you're right. It's bad. You'll hate it, especially that cask that Ricky had at Co-op. It's piss poor. Don't buy it.
Hey guys, as much as I'd like to stay, I have to get my grade 8 to the Canal Rideau tomorrow. We're up for 8 kilometers, so I need to be top shape because they're gonna kick my ass otherwise. If you're okay, Myke, you can take over.
Myke is always happy to take over as the host, and then he hands
your
it off
guy.
to me.
Hostess with the most.
Nick,
Thank
are you just going to
Nick.
eat beaver
Thanks
tails
a lot.
tomorrow?
Oh fuck yeah!
See you, Nick. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm super glad, Russ, you invited me to do this, and I hope. Please feel free to hit me up with any comments or insults or swear words you want. I'm super open. I'm gonna read them for sure.
All my tasting notes had Tabernac and Corliss in it, so that should be helpful. Nick, I just want to say thank you for all the work you put in this week, and like for the back and forth and for the help. You did an awesome job. Can't believe that this is your first tasting that you've hosted in English. You picked it up from my technical difficulties, and you just did an amazing job. So merci beaucoup. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you
Salute.
very much.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, oh yeah. See you on tomorrow or at the Monsters of Islay part fucking 1. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Merci, Nick.
Merci.
Okay, bonsoir.
Thank you, Nick.
Ciao.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks.
What a gem that guy is, eh?
Come on.
Beauty.
Tushy, you've been muted this whole time, man. Where you
Tushy's
at?
in awe. He's in awe of that he likes some peated whiskey. I think
No, he wants a Macallan. Tushy wants a Macallan.
Tushy don't want. Yeah, Tushy wants Macallan, but now he's in love with the peat. He's going to sell all his Macallan now.
Can we just call it like the big Longrow or something and he'd be fine?
No, but I'm okay. I'm loving it actually. Like I'm okay with this peat. I can handle it. That's what I was chatting with Russ. But I was taking care of my baby, so that's why I was on a silent side. But I'm loving the conversations, learning a lot.
We love you
Well, it's
too.
good to hear your voice, brother. I miss you.
Likewise, likewise.
We gotta get a laddie tasting going on again, buddy.
Perfect, perfect. I have a lot many to explore. I have a lot many to open now. And
Let's get
last
some
time,
cuvées happening.
last time I missed meeting you. So next time, if you're coming here, give me a shout and we'll have a pit stop. What's this? Bowmore 18, Manzanilla.
Our next bottle kill.
Can you say
Is
Manzanilla?
that a seagull, Kent?
Manzanilla.
Oh, that's even free seagull. That's a beauty.
Yep. We were going to kill that at the fire this weekend, but my buddy Gregory, holy crap, being his 40th birthday, shows up with 4 birth year bottles.
What?
Yeah, 1982s. Youngest was, 27 years old?
Got some big boy bottles.
And that was the youngest. 27 was the youngest.
Yeah.
That's nice.
There was oh shit, what, I don't have my phone here, but there was a Kalila that was 32 years old from 1982. Oh yeah, he got some big guns with him for his 40th. I was like, I had all these bottles and it was like, yeah, I'm not even getting close to these, but like, come on.
Kulila's a funny distillery, man. Like,
yeah,
young
well,
Kalila, amazing.
Yeah,
Old Kalila, amazing. They got this kind of mushy middle.
It was unpeated. It was absolutely delicious, but unpeated. I was like, I think that's the first Kalila I've had. But 1982 again, right? So
I remember a couple years ago, at the LCBO, we got I think it was the 18-year-old.
It was at 18. I regret
unpeated
not buying that
Kalila.
one. Oh my God, was that a good whiskey?
It was so good. So good. I went through 2 bottles of that. I flipped a third and I regretted it.
Yep.
And that was a nice whiskey.
I think our days of buying good bottles where you could buy them in 3, one to drink now, one to drink next year, one to save for the future, are kind of gone. Just the stock levels aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's very evident. Like this year, like COVID, let's just say in the COVID times, the regular bottles that I typically buy from year to year to add to my series, and I don't call it a collection, it's a series of bottles because I like to do vertical tastings on them. I haven't been able to get them. It's, I wouldn't say I'm not connected. I'm not horribly connected. I'm maybe not the best connected, but I've never had a problem getting bottles like I have in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The number of bottles that are now coming as like the stores can't even get a whole case themselves. It's like, like you get 6 bottles that are split between 2 and 3 stores, and we're doing it by lottery.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, yeah, you won, go pick it up at Vines or go pick it up or like and pay for it. Like,
well, look at Lefroy, right? 3 stores got 6 bottles in Edmonton. Well, what the fuck's with that? I mean, these stores.
Which Lefroy was that?
Carnitas?
Yeah, Carus.
The Caritas.
Yeah.
Very good.
Man, we got shit tons of those in Ontario this year, which was a bit of a surprise.
Myke, if there's still any left.
Oh no, they're gone. But like I ended up with
literally
5 bottles.
Yeah.
I ended up with 5 bottles. Yeah. I kept one for myself and CNS the other ones.
Yeah. So you got one less than the province.
Yeah.
The city.
But yeah, it's
it feels that way.
Wow. I didn't realize that it was such a drought out there. But yeah. Ontario, for whatever reason, we generally do fairly well with the Caritas.
Yeah. this is the problem: is the new shipping is all going out to Ontario, and they can't release it to Alberta. It was like, are you fucking stupid? Like, it's a different governing body. Why would you ship Alberta's allotment to Ontario?
Never said anything to
this.
Ontario,
Throw us a
but
bone in
but hold
Ontario.
on. I'm seeing a
problem
micro
is
provenance
Ontario
being opened
can't
here.
take it out of the allocation because it's allotted for Alberta, and Ontario can't release it to
Yeah.
Alberta because it's a different government. So now it's sitting in a fucking warehouse. Like, are you stupid?
What do we got? Oh yeah, that's a
look at that.
legit laddie tin. Nice. Oh,
man.
beat to rat
That
shit.
is
You know it's a real
classic
brick laddie.
Oh, wait.
Which one is that?
Sorry, I'm on my phone. My laptop wasn't running Ring tonight, so I've been quiet. This is the Syrah cask.
Ooh, very nice.
I was considering opening it, but I wanted to throw. I just threw some laddies into the mix. A Lockendall and a Rins. I just wanted to see where they fell, because I'm not versed in anything out of Springbank, or much of Campbelltown. So I was just doing some comparative scientific testing, and I saw this micro provenance staring out at me and thought, oh, I haven't seen that guy in a while.
I may have to wander upstairs and find my Chateau de Crème.
Ooh,
yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
It's not the worst idea I've had.
For sure.
Mind you, that Longrow cab or that 17. I might have to go grab that now.
Hey, Moto, can we get you to pause between conversation? Your phone's feeding back and it's causing an echo. Yeah, just unmute when you want to talk. Thanks, man. So is that what you're drinking now, Moto?
Were you talking to me? Sorry about that. No, I didn't open that yet. I'm still monkeying around with the newest Friends of Brooklady Rins, and an independent bottled Lockendall.
Oh, nice.
Both 10 years old. I wanted to see kind of where they sat with the Springbank locals and and a couple of those reds, because I had the Pinot Noir. I had a sample of it 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. It completely blew me away.
That's what I was drinking tonight.
The Malbec is really good. The Chilean Cab didn't blow me away like the Pinot Noir and the Malbec did. And my wife said her favorite was the Malbec. So yeah, I'll probably have to hunt a couple of those down at this point.
Is your wife a red wine drinker then?
She definitely enjoys red wine. I used to drink a ton of red wine. I don't drink much wine at all anymore. I'm pretty much exclusive to the single malt. But I love a red wine cask single malt. So that's what definitely drew me to the Longrow side, at least. The Pinot Noir though, I don't know, that's on another plateau in my opinion of the reds that I've had. Yeah, man.
So I love this. I managed to get my hands on 3 of them, and I have that much left.
That's probably where I would be at if I had originally dove in when they first came out, but I missed the boat on it, and pretty much on the whole Campbelltown situation. It just completely missed my peripheral even. So I'm playing catch up right now.
I was fortunate to get on the Campbelltown train a long time ago, And so I've got a decent stock here, but I've kind of jumped off the train because unfortunately now the collectors have jumped on it and it's just unavailable to us. They're, you know, the guys are walking in buying 6 at a time and putting it on their shelves. I'm like, I want to just punch these guys in the teeth. Like, you're ruining it for that actually drink it.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. I live in northern New Jersey, like 40 minutes from New York City, so I have a lot of shops that are fairly close, but nobody really until you get into New York City, there's not much like proper ordering of single malts. You know, we get all the normal releases from a lot of distilleries, and they're not super difficult to find, but like IBs and single casks are pretty much impossible. I do all of that buying from the UK and Europe and that kind of situation. But you're right, it's so frustrating.
Sorry, Adam, what was that?
I got a head start on Myke with the Longrow Chardonnay.
Oh, he's pulling a 17, eh?
Yeah, I've got the same one.
Just changing back to topics to one we had a while ago. Okay. Zuka was the bubble gum that came with the cartoon. Big League Chew was the one that was all chopped up like it was chew. What was the name of the bubble gum that came in the like baseball cards? That like really hard.
Yeah, so I used to buy Topps baseball cards from the hardware store, like in the town that I grew up in, and that was the hardest gum that I've ever encountered. It was like fossilized gum.
Yeah. What was that gum?
I don't know, but I remember. I mean, we had Topps and Upper Deck.
Peachy.
But yeah,
Peachy had gum.
It was unique.
Chilean, that's the gum I'm getting on that one.
I think it's Bazooka. That's what it tastes
Like Bazooka Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bazooka Joe, yeah.
I just let a little bit sit in my glass this whole time and took a big whiff of it, and it's like, oh my god, bubblegum. Bazooka bubblegum.
He's saying bazooka, and to me, it's reminding me of the one that comes in the baseball cards. Like rock hard, you drop it and it shatters.
It even has a bit of it on like the finish. Once it's gone, you get that mouthful of smoke and meaty iodine, meat mostly, and then that hint of bubblegum at the back. That was not there an hour ago.
Hey, Myke.
Yes, sir.
Do you got a bottle of that you're drinking right now?
Of the 17? Yeah.
Yeah. We should flip samples.
Oh, I got you. Is that the Madeira?
This is the 19. I do. Hang on. I can't remember what the 19 is. It's been a while since I've gone into. I forgot how fucking delicious this is.
I feel like it's Madeira, maybe.
There was a 17 that was
1998 bottle 20.
Oh, you're right, Adam.
First filled bourbon barrel.
Oh, all right.
There was
yes, sir. I'll be
8 bottles of this.
I'll be happy to include a sample of this. There was 360 bottles of this. This spent 7 years in a bourbon cask and a further 10 in a Chardonnay cask.
Ooh, nice.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Whiskey.
So is this. I keep forgetting, and I don't, because I'm getting really, really low on it, so I don't go to it very often. I have to throw some nitrogen back in it, but
I'll help you kill it, Kent.
Yeah. You know what? When freaking things open, you get your ass out here for fire, and
I'm absolutely going to be at your fire, sir.
God. I created a goddamn beast with my fire pit, I think.
Well, you've inspired me to try to build one in my backyard as well. So,
Awesome.
you know,
I like that.
come next summer, you may have to come out here as well.
I'm down. Yeah, we're Cheryl
and Adam, you gotta get down to QEW.
I do. I have like 3 or 4 4 Bruichladdich samples that I've been saving for you.
I still have those half samples of Comus and Orpheus that you got to get down here to finish.
Oh man, yeah. Oh man, I'm excited for those. That's gonna be really good. I got to just.
It was
send you a
below
package of
zero
stuff.
when we tried those, and they were still delicious. Imagine how good they'll be
It's
when the
still good.
temperature's above zero.
Oh my god.
You know, and that's one of the cool things around fires that we get, because the bottles sit out on table with us while we're drinking. Like, I mean, people wander in and pour some other stuff from inside, but most of the bottles are outside, right? It's like, yep, chill filtered, unfiltered, right? It is amazing.
Makes it easy to tell.
Yep. Well, and, you know, a lot of times, like, people will put their Glencairn up on the edge of the fire pit to warm it up, right? Because it's just ice cold at some points, and you're like, watch that go, and then it starts steaming. It's like, you're boiling the alcohol up.
Yes, so see.
Well, I remember when the last time Adam and I were together, it was so cold at the park. We're having drams in the park at my house. We had our Glencairns like cupped against our body under our jackets with our hands over the top, trying to warm the whiskey so that we could actually taste it.
Yeah,
I think it was like -3 by the time we shut her down.
Cold. It was real cold.
It was so cold.
It was very
not
cold.
cold.
It
For
was
Toronto,
cold.
that's
Cold to
very
be in
cold.
the park trying to smell stuff. Oh, and you, Mike, you mentioned you haven't had the Octomore 10 4th edition yet. I got a sample here with your name on it.
Thank you, sir.
It's
much appreciated.
Shocking. This is, I think, made from the 7.1 distillate.
Okay. Yep.
Like I know that the 3rd edition and 4th edition are just further aged versions of earlier Octomores.
Mhm.
So it's from, I think this one's from the same run as 7.1, just they kept the casks for longer. And this is the biggest honey bomb of an Octomore that I've ever tried. Like even more so than the Sauterne ones. And this one's like, ex-bourbon and virgin oak. Just it nearly measured up to the 3rd edition. I did them side by side.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Phenomenally good.
Well, I think I might have to, after this Longrow, it might be time to grab the 12.2. Because I had a neck pour, and it was good. It might have been very good. But, as we all know, a neck pour is not indicative of how good an Octomore is going to be.
This is true.
Not unless you shake the living crap out of it.
Well, on that night, guys, we got to take off.
See you, Drew.
Cheers.
Good night, Drew. Good night, Sheila. It was lovely to see the both of you.
You too. Okay. Bye.
See you later. Yeah, that's the thing about Octomores. Like that neck pour, it might be okay, but you get like a third of the way down the bottle, and that's when you really start to understand the character of that bottle.
Once it's been sitting open for about 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I find that all Bruichladdich is like that. Port Charlotte, the same. Even just like regular non-peated Bruichladdich, it's got to oxidize a little bit before you even know what you're getting into.
Actually, you know what, Mike? You take a red wine pouring spout, dump it in the bottle, aerate that crap out of it.
I've thought about trying that. I've thought about trying that.
It works amazingly. It is. I always pour a dram out of it, and then if I want to move that bottle along, I aerate the damn thing like a red wine, and put it back in the bottle, and night and day. It's 2 completely different drams.
I'd be interested to see what it would be like if you tried pouring actual wine through that thing again. After an Octomore's been through it.
No. There's 2 different ones because I don't want that red wine crap in my Octomore.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Man,
Is
sure
Russell
finish
still
really
here, or
is
did he just walk away? Off camera, muted.
Just going through that closet to find dinosaur t-shirts.
You gotta love his shirts.
He's got the best shirts.
Yeah. I wish he wasn't so much.
Where's
of an
LaFrance?
introvert.
What the fuck?
I would love to see him around our fires more often.
I gotta get Johnny LaFrance in here. And where's Andre? Like our regular after party guys.
There you go. Kick all these people that aren't on camera off and invite all the party guys in.
Well, I think Brian left like half an hour ago, but he's still in the meeting.
Just forgot to shut it. You're the admin on this. Can you not kick people?
I can kick out anybody. I got the ban hammer.
Oh, the recording's still running too.
Okay.
Yeah, I should probably turn that off.
May want to stop the recording.
We've gotten deeply into the